still don't think that's bad for a makeshift intro that I put together at the last second. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of the Ringside Podcast and Cardinal Sports Zone's podcast collaboration, the Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. We are your hosts, Jeremy Wallman, the big little brother, Joe Wallman.
Acknowledge me.
And resident twerk pisser, Shawn Barber.
Twerk pisser? What the fudge is that?
It's a new thing on. Never mind. Listen, guys, the chat line is open for all your comments and questions. We'll answer those in real time to get your interactions and responses. Don't forget, if you're a member of the Ringside Podcast, DM chat on Twitter. You have the opportunity to call in as well. Just let us know in that group chat, and Shawn will be sending you the number. And he'll be monitoring that chat as well, guys. Lots of stuff to get into tonight. Twerk pissing is not one of them.
Let's
get into the miscellaneous news. First off, there were some pretty cool vignettes that were released over the weekend, only to find out that it was all leading to a promo for WrestleMania 42. It angered the fans. I don't understand. Like, here's the thing. You want new and fresh things. They don't give them to you. You twerk, piss, and moan. You want new things, and they do give it to you. You pee and moan. I've reached our allotment for piss for the show. Whoop, went over. Find me. You're never going to do something that makes everybody happy. So it might as well. You might as well just do what you do. So
I thought it was cool.
I thought it was as well. But here's the thing about it. You're going to have to take out a mortgage and donate a kidney to be able to go to WrestleMania this year in the first 10 rows, because allegedly to sit in row 6, it's $11,500 a ticket before the service fee and taxes.
Is that for 2 nights or just 1 night?
It's for the 2 nights.
Oh, not that it matters, but I'm just saying,
right.
22,000 versus 12,000.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, I don't know that. I just looked it up, and that's how much it was for the ticket. It could have been a 2-night ticket.
I think they're only selling the 2-night tickets right now.
Very fair.
So there probably is 2 nights.
It could be. Rumors have come out that the on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again affair between WWE and Andrade is not really a thing. There are people out there that are saying, "Oh, WWE is going to try to get him to come back since he's banned for a year from appearing on other shows." A report also come out this past week that Samantha Irvin has a 2-year non-compete. The reason for that being, it was confirmed, was because she had just signed a new contract a couple months before, and by avoiding that contract, she earned the extra year of non-compete. Everybody's favorite old white guy shaking the stick in your front yard, Goldberg, in the news again this week. He's on a podcast and he just swears that WWE is just against him and cut him off and all this other stuff. And even went as far as to say some girl beat my undefeated streak. That some girl was Asuka, and that some girl responded very classy on Twitter. Some people just can't get out of their own way, Matt Riddle. Mark Henry in the news today told AEW, F you. Because he gave permission to Will Hobbs to use the World's Strongest Slam as a finisher only, and they have instructed him to use it as a regular move during the match. Confirmed by Will Hobbs to Mark Henry. So, hey, Mark Henry, we're with you here, buddy. I had this in the miscellaneous news to start the show, and Shawn started talking about it before the show. But the new regime of Triple H has been really, really good. And the only problems that either one of us can find have been all the storyline blunders in this last year. The Cena heel turn, the LA Knight stuff, Jey Uso. I mean, everything. So, Shawn, my question to you, which I normally don't ask questions about the miscellaneous news, have they carried enough favor with all the good stuff they've done for us to overlook these seemingly at the last second draw? I mean, The Rock was supposed to come back at Mania, never came back. So, have they done enough good for us to just overlook this, or is it a problem?
I don't think it's a problem yet because there's enough there that I think once the year ends and you get to the beginning of the new year and the Rumble and what have you, I think in 2026 they can kind of get back on track. Because to be honest, I think this whole Cena retirement thing kind of threw a wrench into a lot of stuff. They had to work around, and I don't blame them. I mean, Cena is, you know, one of the top, what, 3, 4 performers they've had in their company, and he's never gotten in trouble. So I get it, but that's the issue: is that it's they've had to cater to that so much that it's thrown a wrench into other things, and you've had all these weird, title changes and guys going away, and some of these films too. I know Cody was out filming, Roman's been out filming movies. That
Well, let's not forget they added mid-card titles for the women, and I don't even remember last time I saw
Intercontinental title
Julia.
been getting time, but the U.S. title it's just withering on the vine. They got to do something with that to make it mean something.
And they I would say that they also do that with their men's mid-card titles as well. They don't give them as much focus as they deserve. What about you, Joey?
I don't really have any qualms with anything other than ticket prices, but like as far as storylines, the Cena thing. Here's the thing: you can't really, Shawn. I hate to disagree with you, and this is why I disagree with you, because they knew the year before, right? Cena said a year ago, about this time a year ago, that 2025 was going to be it. So they already had started planning the things that happened with Cena for the most part. Now the heel turn, we seen that on, what was it, Unreal or whatever, where that was talked about, or one of the documentaries.
Yeah, it's Unreal.
That came kind of spur of the moment, but most of the stuff I don't think was spur of the moment. It's been planned out. He'd probably give them a list of people he would like to work with, this, that, and other, and they kind of went with that. But if that's the case, then what about next year when AJ Styles has already said that he's retired next year? And by all accounts, they kind of hold him in, obviously not in John Cena's stratosphere, but pretty close. Pretty close. So, like, what are they going to do next year for AJ Styles?
Nothing.
But I think they will.
They've pretty much forgotten him on TV the last 4 or 5 months. And I'm glad you brought that. Another example. They have AJ cut a promo on TV. Somebody in the back don't want me to be here, and then you never hear anything. Nothing else is said about that. And then 4 weeks later, he's wrestling John Cena. 2 weeks later, he's the tag team champion. Continuity to me is what the continuity. And if anybody's thrown off this. I agree with Joey on this. The Cena thing was planned out in advance. However, The Rock's the one that screwed that up.
Mm-hmm.
He threw the monkey wrench in there. John Cena didn't.
And that's what I was going to say. The TKO dynamic has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
Like, people are trying to blame Triple H, and I don't think it's Triple H, because we had time with Triple H before TKO really started, dipping their fingers in there, right? And playing puppet master with some things. So, because we were saying, just let Triple H cook, and guess what? 9 out of 10 times, we got a good payoff, right? And I still feel like on some of these things, we'll get a good payoff because he's into long-term storytelling. So we sit here and we're thinking about LA Knight. Well, he's still as hot as he was 3 years ago. And 3 years ago, we thought, man, they better do something with him soon. He's going to fizzle. Because most of them do, right? They get hot and then they fizzle. So when he eventually does win the World Heavyweight title, it's going to be that much bigger. And even with the Jey Uso stuff, long-term storytelling. Like, let's see where it goes, because you never know. And then when we get there, we'll be like, well, that makes sense. You remember when blah blah blah? Now that makes sense. So I just like to play the wait and see game. I'm not really disappointed with really anything so far, that I could point to, like every week on AEW probably, and be like, well, that sucks or that's stupid. We WWE fans have to think about that. It could be AEW.
And for me, I would say my biggest gripe is just doing the storylines for 5 or 6 weeks and then just acting like the next week nothing ever
Too many
happened.
pay-per-views. That's part of the problem.
There's also
Way
I
too many
agree with
pay-per-views, and you're getting these storylines last maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
I was just sitting there thinking yesterday, I was like, holy crap, Saturday night's main events this weekend. Like, when is there a weekend where there's not? It feels like it's every weekend.
It basically is when you really
They've
think
got a
about it.
PLE, whether it's the main roster, NXT, or a Saturday night's main event. They're kind of that. So you know what? Let me rewind. That is the one thing that I am kind of begrudging of, is Saturday night's main event used to be a special. Like, it used to only really be like maybe twice a year. It was very few and far between. I feel like we've had about 7 this year.
Yeah, they used to run them quarterly. So
something like that. It was very right. It was.
But there's been
out.
6, I believe, this year.
It just
Or
seems
there
like
will be by the time Cena's Saturday night's main event. I
It
believe
just
that's
feels like
number
there's
6.
been more, but maybe it's because of the amount of PLEs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that. And last but not least, me and Joey and Steve and Teresa are actually on WrestleMania today.
We were?
They showed a clip from Jey Uso and Daniel Cormier's little interview where we were behind them. They were crapping on Jay, and they showed like a 10-second clip of us on there. And I wish it would have been Wrestle Talk, because WrestleMania can't get their transition screens right half the time, but I'll take it. It's almost like Wes Brocky runs WrestleMania a majority of the time. So it is what it is. All right, we're going to get right into this week's action. That's what we're here for. And we're going to start off with the SmackDown report, brought to you by the Big Dumper.
Man, it was close to being rough. So the October 24th edition of SmackDown, we saw a women's division non-title match. Tiffany Stratton defeated Kiana James. Afterwards, we saw the return of Jade Cargill come out, help run off the attackers to help save Stratton. And then afterwards, big clothesline, beat her down, turns heel. And the match between those two was later announced for a future event. A United States Championship Open Challenge. We got Aleister Black. Honestly, a really good, hard-hitting match between those two. Aleister Black lost, obviously. Towards the end of the match, Zelina Vega got ejected from ringside. Dragunov wins the match, and afterwards, Damian Priest attacks Aleister Black, beats him down. And I believe towards the end of the night was another match between them announced. Kind of feel like there was. Like, this is like round 6 or 7. So we had a tag team match. The MFTs, Tama Tonga, JC Mateo defeated Shinsuke Nakamura and Rey Fenix with a distraction from Solo being the key factor. Again, a really good match. All really good workers. Solid in-ring work. I'm still digging the face paint on the MFTs. I think it adds a lot. So I should have started with this. The show opened with Cody Rhodes addressing the universe. He was interrupted by Drew, which accused Cody of orchestrating the attack on Jacob. A claim that Cody denied. Drew and Jimmy Uso came out and beat him down. They had a squabble throughout the ringside area. And at the main event, We had Jimmy Uso, Big Jim, the left hand man, Jimmy Uso, versus the Scottish Psychopath. I wish he'd go back to that kind of moniker. And I believe it was just basically a no holds barred, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no holds barred. So, like I said, Jimmy had attacked Drew, believing he had attacked Jacob, and see, Drew. I'm kind of reading some notes here. Sorry, led to a no disqualification match where Drew defeated Uso. And then after the match, he was still beating him down. I believe Cody came out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of forgot some stuff there at the end, but all in all, a solid show, I thought. Again, the in-ring work on SmackDown is very good. I like how some of the stories are going. I'm not real big, obviously, on Ilya Dragunov. A lot of people are. I'm, however, not one of them.
No.
Don't really like his character. I mean, he can go in the ring, but there's no factor about him that makes me go, man, can't wait to get to SmackDown tonight or watch SmackDown tonight so I can see Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah,
I was enjoying the Sami Zayn
all right.
challenge. I was enjoying the Sami Zayn Open Challenge.
That was really good.
And
they just dropped it.
Yeah. So that was your SmackDown recap presented by me.
There you go. Let's get straight to Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about NXT in a second. CM Punk and Jey Uso start off the show promoing each other. Punk steals several Uso-isms, and then the two go off on each other. Rusev versus Penta for the number one contendership ends in a no contest when the Americanos attack them. Later on in the show, Pierce tells Dominic his plans to avoid Penta and Rusev were foiled because at Saturday night's main event, he will face them both. Next was the LA Knight promo stating that he wants the winner he wants next. Roxanne Perez defeats Nikki Bella in a surprise. The Judgment Day attacks Nikki Bella after the match, and Vaquer runs in for the save. Braun Breaker defeats LA Knight clean. Don't like that. Yeah. And then the night of upsets continues as JD McBobblehead beats Sheamus after Finch shillelaghs the crap out of him. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee agreed to a rematch, which I've never heard of champions agreeing to a rematch after JD beats Shamey. And then the last of the evening was Alexa and Charlotte defeats Bayley and Lyra. Then the Kabukiers jump the Twisted Queens and Bayley after the match. Finally, Bayley scares them off. Solid Raw, nothing special. Couple of shock wins was enough. The promo at the beginning, it was really good. CM Punk stealing all of Jay's stuff. That was entertaining. The run it back and the 4 letters, 1 word, Punk, that was pretty cool. Here is your Saturday night's main event rundown as of now. CM Punk versus Jey Uso, singles match for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the undisputed WWE Championship. Tiffany Stratton, your champion, will wrestle Jade Cargill. That match will be for the WWE Women's Championship. And as stated earlier, Dominic Mysterio will defend his Intercontinental title versus Penta and Rusev. So there's going to be another match that comes out of SmackDown. That's what, 3? No, that's 2 and 2.
They usually have about 5 on these.
Yeah, there's normally 5. That's another thing I don't really like, the whole 5-match pay-per-view format. Now, the 5 matches are really good matches, so it looks like a concise pay-per-view, but you leave so many people off that you're like, Rhea didn't wrestle at the last pay-per-view? Why not? Like, we want to see Rhea. Like, we want to see, I didn't see anything wrong with the way they used to do the pay-per-views. I do understand that once Triple H got a hold of NXT and started churning out them banger 5-match NXT pay-per-views, and everybody was talking about how good NXT was, that worked for developmental. That worked for NXT. This is the main roster. We need more matches. Speaking of NXT, Halloween Havoc was this past weekend. Very entertaining pay-per-view. Started off by Javon Evans and Leon Slater, the young OG and the youngest in charge, defeating Mr. Iguana and La Parca in a nice 18-minute match. Plenty of spots throughout this match. It was entertaining. Now, full disclosures, this pay-per-view was on the same exact time as our college team that we cover. They played a football game that night, so there was a lot of back and forth. I rewatched it, and it was a lot better rewatching it. But we still caught most of the ooh ah moments while we were watching the football game. Ethan Page defeated Il Hio, did Dr. Pepper Zero by pinfall. That match was probably the match of the night. Lots of really, really good spots, and Ethan's just killing it, man. If he's not on the main roster by this time, by WrestleMania season, then I don't know what's going on there. Zarya stepped up to defend Sol Ruka's North American Championship and lost it to Blake Monroe. Tatum Paxley defeated JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship in an upset. Nobody saw that happening. All of us were like, what is going on? We were further perplexed by what we saw Tuesday night, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Dark State defeated the Broken Hardys.
I was surprised about that.
That was a surprise. Thank God it wasn't for both sets of tag titles. That was their way of getting the NXT tag titles back on NXT. Sorry. AEW came on the screen and I immediately yawned. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Last but not least, Ricky Saints defended his championship versus Trick Williams. Another solid pay-per-view. The run times for the matches was 18 minutes, 18:22, 11 for Blake Monroe and Zarya. That was the shortest match of the night. Tatum Paxley and JC went almost 17 minutes. The tag match went almost 20, and the main event went 16:48. So, yeah, other than the North American title match, both title main events were the two next shortest matches. That leads us to Tuesday night's episode of NXT. Trick and Ricky fight all night long, off and on. Jasper, is it Troy Jasper or Jasper Troy?
Jasper Troy, I believe.
Beats Axiom with like 3 seconds left on the clock to win the speed tournament. He will fight El Grande Venti Latte next week on NXT. So Ruka decides to vacate her speed title instead of letting Zarya defend it. Setting up the seeds for the long-awaited breakup. I know they caught like kind of lightning in a bottle when they paired them together, but Zarya is a beast and she deserves to be featured on NXT television.
You must really
turn off AEW, Shawn. Jesus. No, it's this fan. So it was hot. I'm turning it off. When we got in here, it was sweltering, and I turned it on. It took me a full 23 minutes to get the yawns.
It was probably warmer there because Shawn started twerk pissing.
That's absolutely it. No, he wasn't doing not here in the room with me. He wasn't.
You said that was absolutely it. Wait a minute.
He had probably been doing that in his car on the way here, as Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson get 7,000 pyros when they weren't getting any. I don't know what this storyline. I'll be honest with you, the Young Bucks storyline's been the most interesting thing on AEW in recent memory. I just haven't kept up with it the last few weeks. The culling comes out, and Tatum Paxley uses the Halloween Havoc wheel to decide her next challenger after Izzy strongly suggests that she shouldn't. The wheel lands on Lola Vice. Stupid decision. It was pointed out, though, Izzy wasn't even on the wheel. Kendall Gray defends her Evolve Women's Championship versus Last Legend. Didn't like that. I don't like the Evolve Women's title being defended on NXT anyway. But for somebody that's been dominating that scene like Lash has, it made no sense for her to lose clean to Kendall Gray. Miles Bourne defeats Tavion Heights with Josh Briggs on commentary. Briggs and Heights fight after the match. Trick comes out and hits Miles with the chair, and then him and Ricky are fighting again. There's a backstage hilarious Chelsea Green Ethan Page promo that it all culminates in Joe Hendry popping out of a trash can. Hilarious. Lola versus Tatum ends in a no contest after Fatal Influence interferes. When Lola was talking before the match, well, at least I finally get a title match where I don't have to have interference, which led you to know there was going to be interference. Blake Monroe announces she'll defend her newly won North American Championship in New York City at Gold Rush. Gold Rush will be a pay-per-view. I'm trying to remember if it's in the middle of November or middle of December. I can't recall exactly. I believe it's the middle of December. It will involve AAA, NXT, and TNA. So kind of like a Worlds Collide type deal.
November.
It is November.
Yes, November 18th.
Okay, I knew it was the 18th of something. I just couldn't remember.
There's a prime example of what we talked about earlier. I mean, Saturday night's main event, NXT Gold Rush, Survivor Series.
Well, let's also not forget that week of November that they're doing the Gold Rush in New York is also the next set of TNA tapings. They've been off for we'll talk about TNA in a second, since Bound for Glory. But okay, I'm over this crap. They show a backstage segment where NXT Confidential has shot footage of Javon and Leon talking on the phone. Darkseid comes in, tries to intimidate Javon. A challenge has been issued, which led us to the main event. Kalani Jordan beat Jordan Grace. Jordan gets distracted by the stuff going on outside. The referee gets distracted. Kalani hits her with the title. She finally turns heel. Probably learned that from her man, and she retains the TNA Knockouts Championship, which was really odd that was the main event, but it made sense at the end of the day. And to end the show, Ricky St. Spears trick through the wall, and another good episode of NXT. This one wasn't great, but it was good. Now we're going to go to our OVW report by Daniel Hatfield. Daniel says, Al Snow greeted the audience last week with the announcement of OVW's new general manager. There was a lot of speculation. It ended up being Katie Gannon, which is the blonde with the big, really, really big career aspirations, which she has been featured on the show before. She was a prevalent part of the Revolution, so it kind of makes you raise your eyebrow on that. So Sophia Rose then faced Freya the Slayer. Match ends in a no contest after OVW's latest monster, Killa Kai, walks down the ramp and is then chased off by the entire women's locker room. New GM Katie Gannon has a segment telling the Trifecta, Level 3, and Cal Hero that there will be no interruptions in each other's matches tonight, or there will be suspensions and fines. The Troublemakers then face Level 3. Level 3 picks up the victory, continues to impress. Superior Tony Evans then wrestles TW3. Evans picks up the win, and Jay De Niro comes out and attacks Evans, but will not hit his son. Star Rider versus Shotgun Tony Gunn, best of 7. Tony Gunn wins with a chair shot the ref didn't see. It's probably Daniel Spencer. And now leads the series 2 matches to 0. Cal Hero defeats Rocco Garcia. In a 6-man tag match, Sam Holloway, Jack Vaughn, and the Mammoth versus the Trifecta. The Trifecta wins after tension again mounts between the Mammoth and the veteran Vaughn. Tag team championship match. Los Desafios versus Dustin Jackson and Anthony Totelli. Los Desafios wins and becomes the new OVW tag team champions 1 week ahead from Heck Night. They call it something else, but I'm saying Heck. Decent OVW showing. It had been kind of rocky the past month or so. So again, in wrestling, you have your ups and downs. When you're on a smaller scale, the downs seem like a lot bigger. They're really not. Speaking of TNA, Clint not on the show tonight with his thoughts on TNA because They ran Bound for Glory. The very next week, they did a behind the scenes Bound for Glory episode where they showed a bunch of backstage footage. They did something different last week, and tonight, tomorrow night, the Very Hearty Halloween special airs 8 o'clock on TNA Plus and Access TV. Been told it was very, very, very interesting. AEW, the only AEW notes we had: Blood and Guts Wednesday, November the 12th, from Greensboro, North Carolina. Our guy Tom off tonight, taking care of some personal things. Want to give a shout out to our fine sponsors at Cap Go Championship Belts. You can follow them on Facebook. Going to have some new details next week about a special deal that they're going to have for the holiday season. And I'm going to ask you all to help me figure out. So one of the deals that we have with them is if I sell 10 championships, I get one free. So I have sold my 10th championship for him, including ones that I bought myself. I don't know which one to get. Part of me wants to get the big gold belt. Part of me wants to get the $1 million championship. And since it's free, and for the heck of it, part of me wants to request the Crown Jewel Championship just because it's a monstrosity. But I'm going to let y'all help me figure out which one to get. I think I'm down to the $1 million championship and the big gold belt. If y'all have any suggestions of cool belts, throw them my way. We'll talk about it. We'll figure that out. CAPGO Championship Belts on Facebook. Message them. They can create any current championship for any promotion and any vintage championship for any promotion. So he does great work. You just the way they do it, you tell him what you want. He sends you his final mock-ups and stuff. You approve it. You make sure there's no errors. Not that there will be, but you make sure everything looks the way you want it to look. And he makes it and sends it your way, and then you end up happy. So check them out. Final bell, closing thoughts. Again, I want to once again shout out our guys at Pro Wrestling Nation: Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, Mark Henry, Tommy Dreamer, and Nick Nemeth, Natty Neidhart, and the crew. Appreciate all the hard work they do in keeping us entertained. Want you all to make sure you stay subscribed to our notifications because we can pop up at any time. It's not always Wednesday nights wrestling recap. Sometimes we sneak in with a 2 nights wrestling recap. Shawn, before we hop off here for the night, any other things you want to discuss, or do you have any final thoughts?
My final thought is I am very curious to see if they maybe pull the trigger on Drew McIntyre at Saturday night's main event. I'm very curious to see if I don't think they will, but I think it wouldn't be a bad idea.
So are you a little curious or just bi-curious? I'm sorry. All right. Joey, what about you? Any other topics of discussion or final thoughts?
No, it's Wednesday night, halfway through the week, and I can't wait for the week to be over because I'm tired.
Well, it's like they say, it's Wednesday night. You know what that means. Time to go to bed early. Look, for myself, for Joey, for Shawn, this has been the Ringside Podcast and Cardinal Sports Zone Podcast production of the Wednesday Night Wrestling Recap. And don't forget, for only $11,000, you can come sit right next to us in the studio, and it'll still be cheaper than fifth row seats at WrestleMania. Until next time, you can catch us ringside. We will see you. Boom. The proceeding